Hi there, I'm Dr. Sam Curtis, and today we're going to be talking about breastfeeding. Breastfeeding, in my opinion, tends to be a very polarizing topic because people think that they have to be all in or all out, and there's a lot of stress associated with pregnancy. So if you're watching this video, you probably fall into one of two categories. You're either pregnant and you're very concerned with breastfeeding because either you had trouble the first time around, or you were like myself and you saw that it seemed to be a very difficult task, and so you were just worried about getting started. Or you are in the thick of it and you are breastfeeding and you're having some issues and you're looking for some support. And if you're just here because you want to learn more about breastfeeding, good job. Here are the two best pieces of advice about pregnancy, about breastfeeding that I ever got. Number one, never quit on a bad day. Everybody I've ever talked to who said, you know what, it was just too hard and I quit. Immediately afterwards, they say, oh, I wish I'd kept going. I think that's pretty significant. Not quitting on a bad day, meaning ending on a high note. I think that's a really good day-to-day mantra. I used to work in a fast food restaurant, and they used to have a picture in the bathroom that said, yard by yard, life is hard, but inch by inch, life's a cinch. And so when it comes to breastfeeding, if you're having trouble or if you're worried about having trouble, just taking things one feeding at a time can be really beneficial. The other thing that I've heard that I think is just beautiful is that breastfeeding is natural, just like you've seen all the stupid memes online. But that doesn't mean that it's easy. It is learned. Your baby has innate reflexes in their body before they're even born to help them feed. However, neither of you have ever done this before. It's hard. And if you've done it before with other children, there may be something going on that you didn't encounter the first time around, so you need some support. So here's what I got for you. Number one, Santa Maria has some amazing lactation consultants. These people, their job is to help you achieve your breastfeeding goals. Now, there's a lot of research out there that talks about how good breastfeeding is for a child, how breast milk is really, really good for children, how breastfeeding decreases the chances of postpartum depression and anxiety. I could sit here and I could tell you the perks all day. But unless you feel comfortable doing it and you feel supported doing it, you're not going to do it. So today we're going to talk about a couple of issues that come along with breastfeeding that chiropractic can help with. Number one, if you are like me and you notice your baby breastfeeds on one side really, really well, like beautifully, and then it gets to the other side and that baby is just not having it, I want you to try a little experiment. I want you to see if your baby turns their head all the way one way as far as they do the other way. So in other words, you can snap your fingers sometimes if your baby's a little bit older, or you can literally just lean to one side and see how far your baby goes. But those are great indicators to see what's going on. If your baby's head doesn't rotate as far one way as it does the other, that lets us know that there's something going on in your baby's neck that is really causing a problem for them to turn to find your breast. The other thing that we deal with in pregnancy and postpartum with breastfeeding is that as your milk comes in, they're very heavy, at least for a little while. And as a product of that, a lot of times if you're sitting up nice and properly upright, with that added weight on the top of your chest, you start to pull forward. And so then if you're pulling forward anything you're doing to watch television or to focus in a conversation, you're having to hyperextend your neck. So then you start to have pain through your neck and shoulders through here. One of my favorite breastfeeding positions has been side lying because it allows you to at least relax, if not get a little cat nap in there. And when you're side lying, you can actually put yourself in a little bit of an a better ergonomic position as opposed to football hold or a cross cradle. And the reason that exists is because if you're holding a baby, you're looking down to make eye contact and to make sure all the latch is good and all that fun stuff. If you're looking down, again, you're pulling these muscles along the back of your neck. So that is definitely something we can help with. And even beyond that, if you are still looking for a lactation consultant and you just don't know where to go, we have great references within our office to kind of point you in the right direction. And there are some amazing new startups in our community. We have some La Leche League pajama party house parties that I've been to, and they are really, really supportive and really great. Personally, I have been breastfeeding for 15, almost 16 months tomorrow, and I will tell you right now, it did not get off to the easiest start. And the last thing that I really want to tell you is that breastfeeding is not all or nothing. My child started out having a bottle of breast milk instead of actually breastfeeding. And it took us 5 weeks, the first 5 weeks of his life, to get back to breastfeeding. And so it is a challenge and it is natural, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's easy. Let us support you as you start on this fairly epic journey yourself.